Hello and welcome back to WD18, the Watford fan channel. Welcome to another match review, or another two matches that we are going to review after it finished last Tuesday on a less positive note. Watford 0, Ipswich 2 at Vicarage Road. But on a way more positive note and a really enjoyable Friday night finish at Ashton Gate. Bristol City 1, Watford 2. Leaves Watford still in and around the playoffs. Are we still in the conversation? We will have that conversation on this video today. I'm joined by Charlie Zazara. Charlie, how are you?
I'm good, mate. Good. Yeah, all the better for Friday night. You always get worried when Watford are playing on Friday night because it can either kill your weekend or make your weekend. But it was nice that boxed off 3 points on the Friday night, and you could chill out, not having any Watford stress-related issues over the weekend. But yeah, it was pretty chilled. Enjoyed the Brits on Friday.
Oh,
Obviously, that's not your cup of tea with not being a music man, but
no.
I've
Well
got
remembered.
nothing.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. It definitely helps, I think, on a Friday night when Watford win and tick that win off as well. Definitely an improvement on Tuesday night as well. And something that I think I've spoken about before on another video, our record under the lights this season really hasn't been good at all. So it was good to sort of get something and a positive result to create another memorable night under the lights watching Watford. Before we get into it, though, a bit of general stuff before we get going. The WD18 merch is now live. Had a couple of really nice messages of people who their first jumpers have arrived in the post. The stuff looks brilliant. Charlie's got it up on screen now. Those aren't the only colors as well. You can get it in a whole variety of colors, and all proceeds or profits are going to Hertfordshire Mine. So as well as being able to wear a lovely jumper, a lovely hat, you'll be able to do your bit for charity as well. And we had a brilliant jumper there. We had a cap that we managed to sell too. So yeah, make sure to check out the link in our description, and you can get your hands on them as well. Someone here in the comments as well. Patima saying, I bought a couple of hoodies, black and grey, would recommend. They are incredibly comfortable, and I'm not just saying that trying to sell them. To get your hands on them. And on the topic of profits going to Hertfordshire Mind, it is now March, so we are doing together our donation for both January and February. In total, Watford scored 12 goals across those 2 months, with 2 added the other night, including an absolute screamer from Jeremy Ngakia. So Charlie and I will do our donations, and we'll put a link up on our social channels this week for how you can get involved with our £1 for every goal that Watford are scoring this season. That's out the way, Charlie. let's break down. Thank you so much. Yeah, let's break through, go through another busy Watford week. First off, I think I said this on the last video, but I think it's ridiculous that Watford were made to play on Friday after playing on Tuesday. I think there should be a rule. I know that Championship teams have to obviously go on TV a certain amount of times this season, and there's the Sky deal, etc. But I do think that potentially Watford or Championship teams in general shouldn't be made to play on the Friday night after playing that midweek game with just how congested it was. But if we're going back to Tuesday night, Ipswich at home,
Sam. It didn't matter.
Didn't matter in the end. We looked as fresh as a daisy out there on the Ashton Gate pitch. Let's go back to Ipswich though on Tuesday night. It was always going to be a tough game, Charlie. We saw a change in formation as well from Ed Still on. It wasn't his second home game in charge. I've lost count already. But yeah, do you want to talk us through how Watford set up against Ipswich?
Yeah, so we played 3 at the back, and it was interesting, really. I think the thinking was, because previous to that, Ipswich took a big beating to our friends, maybe not friends, but Wrexham. Did they beat them 5-2 or 5-3 the week after? So I think the thinking was, can we kind of replicate that and cause them damage? So we went to a back 3. Bowler came in, Fooney, Pollock, and Abankwah, and Petrie as the right wing back. And you can see kind of tried to be saying a 4 here. I think Iran Kunda was quite central. He was all over the place, really. But yeah, we tried to match him up. And like my only real takings from the game, Sam, was just like Ipswich were just better than us. I didn't particularly mind the game plan. I didn't think that was what lost us the game. I just thought I thought they were a lot more efficient. I thought they built up better than us. I thought they were a lot slicker than us. It's just one of those games which is quite rare in the Championship where I just thought, yeah, they're just like a level above us. I remember watching Leeds. Did Leeds beat us like 4-1 last year? And Dan James, and I felt like that from the outset. I think I put a message in our group saying, are they the best team that we faced this season, especially at the Vic? Get in the comments if you agree with me. But yeah, I thought they're a lot better. I think we can, if you actually break down the game, we are kind of unlucky because, I mean, that goal was very frustrating to concede. It was a free kick, got ricocheted. And should we get the Selvik conversation out of the way? I think he's got to do a lot better there. It feels like he doesn't move his feet quick enough. And we've seen it all too often, in my opinion, that the ball just goes so centrally in our goal this season and a top keeper would save it. So I don't know if I'm being harsh there. Do you agree?
Yeah, I want to come on.
How did it feel in the ground?
I want to come on to Southwick a bit more when we talk about Bristol City because I think he's a fascinating goalkeeper. A lot of people were quite impressed by his performance at Ashton Gate. Myself, less so. But we'll come on to that, I think surely. But yeah, I think you're right. He has to do better. I think for me, and I mean, I can't talk for other people in the ground, but there was some frustration in the ground. Firstly, because I think Watford, I think we did lack, while the setup was there and I could see the thinking, I did think we lacked that bit of aggression and we looked a little bit scared. I think we showed Ipswich a little bit too much respect. I think you're right. I mean, I'd actually probably say they're the second best team we've faced this season. I'd probably put Millwall slightly ahead of them at their performance at Vicarage Road. Why are you shaking your head? Why are you shaking your head, Charlie?
You can't be having Millwall in the Premier League.
They absolutely battered us at Vicarage Road. But yeah, Ipswich definitely up there. But I did think that we showed them a little bit too much respect, particularly because they were coming into that having to win to keep their top two hopes alive, with Middlesbrough opening a window up for them. And off the back of a battering where confidence could be low, I think their fans were frustration. I think they've got a few injuries. I just think we sat off them a little bit too much. And granted, for me, this is where my frustration comes from, is that it's not the Ipswich game in itself. It's the fact that we've now left ourselves with, in my opinion, too much to do to get a playoff place. We're 6 points off now after the Bristol City game. We're 6 points off after the Ipswich game. Because we blew chances to pick up points at home to Sheffield Wednesday, at home to Portsmouth, away to Charlton on the first day. I'm trying to think of other examples where we've blown points. It means that now we're effectively going to have to be playing catch-up in games that you'd maybe not expect us to win. And that includes a game like Ipswich at home. Vicarage Road is going to be so important between now and the end of the season. And in that I include, for example, Coventry at home on the last day of the season. If we've still got something to play for, we probably won't. We're going to have to go to Middlesbrough potentially and pick something up now. So my frustration is now that because we sat off maybe a little bit too much against Ipswich, not because of that, we're just leaving ourselves too much to do. And it was a big opportunity because we squandered those opportunities at home and away against teams that we should have been beating. Maybe that's me being harsh. In isolation, I agree with you. It's not the worst performance. It's not the worst result. It's just taking a step back. I just think that, I don't know, we're leaving ourselves too much to do this season. Am I being harsh, Charlie?
No, you're bang on. But like I said, in terms of the Ipswich game, even could we have a chance to nick something when we won that penalty? Thoughts?
Yeah, I did actually say this, that when we got that penalty, I said if we score it, we'll go on and win this.
Was it like 10 minutes to go at least?
Yeah, 10 minutes to go. I just feel like, again, I'm feeling like I'm ranting when I sort of want to get over this Ipswich game as soon as we can to talk about a more positive game against Bristol City. But again, it's sort of, I'm looking at two things this season that are potentially going to cost Watford. One of them is, I'm going to have to say, missed penalties. I'm not saying we would have got anything out of that Ipswich game, but
Loser against Sheffield Wednesday.
Wednesday game. Yeah, loser against Sheffield Wednesday. If loser scored that, we've got half an hour to go and pick up a win against Sheffield Wednesday. I thought you were shaking your head there, Charlie, disagreeing with me again. But it's, again, those just missed opportunities to go on, take games by the scruff of the neck, and take games to certain teams, even top teams. So that's a frustration. And the other thing I want to talk about, and I think maybe it's a chance to go on to this, is discipline problems, which is something that I actually think at times this season I've thought Watford looked really mature, and not just this season, over the last 18 months, even under Tom Cleverley. was thinking this Watford team are looking a lot more mature now, but we've seen so many petulant red cards this season. It's been a big conversation this over the last couple of days because of what happened with Chelsea, with Pedro Neto getting sent off yesterday, and that was like their 9th red card this season. But we had Imran Luzer's red card on the second day of the season against QPR, which wasn't down to petulance. He was trying to win the ball back when we were holding on for a win. We had James Abankwah getting sent off at Coventry. And then the big two talking points in terms of petulance would be Iran Kunda, was it against Swansea? I think it was, or Millwall. Can't remember who it was against now.
Millwall.
When he got sent off that.
Swansea, sorry.
Yeah, I think it was Swansea. And then Dumbia, it wasn't a red card, but retrospective. I can't remember if I've missed any other red cards this season. Let us know in the live chat now. But again, we're leaving ourselves too much to do. And it is just frustrating me. I feel like the missed penalties and the red cards and suspensions are just a microcosm of ultimately the big problem this season is Watford being their own worst enemies and giving ourselves an uphill battle. Charlie, let's talk about the Dumbia suspension, which we found out about an hour before kickoff against Bristol City. I can only imagine the club found out on Friday morning, maybe, or Thursday night, which is why we didn't hear about it in the presser. Harsh or the correct decision?
I was speaking to a mate of mine who's an Ipswich fan, and obviously after the game he was laughing, but he messaged saying, I can't believe the referee missed the double punch to the head that your striker gave to our player. I agree with what you're saying in terms of kind of the discipline and the petulance, but for me, that kind of all stems from the squad building and looking at what our squad is like. Watford, I don't know if you can see here, we've got the second youngest average age in the whole championship, where Norwich just below us. And I think that I don't think the players are necessarily ill-disciplined. I just think a lot of them are very immature and young and going to make mistakes. Iran Kunda be a prime example. Dumbia is a character who kind of, especially this season, he feels like whenever he's coming on, he wants to make a real impact. And I think his application has always been great and his attitude's been great, but he was obviously a bit overzealous on Tuesday, and that's cost him, and that's going to cost him another 2 games and probably cost us. So, yeah, I don't put it too much down to the players per se, but maybe the squad building. But, yeah, Sam, you're right. If you look at all those yellow cards, and there's so many things, and maybe we're talking a bit too big picture. When we'll do like our end of season review, we'll talk about why Watford did or did not achieve what we were set out to be, because I think there's so many factors, not to mention our owners and managers, etc. But maybe we should move on to something positive and talk about a Watford win.
Definitely. Let's move on to something positive. And before we do that, let us know in the live chat your thoughts on the Ipswich game and, of course, the Bristol City game, which we'll touch on in just a second. Goal in the promotion race as well, it seems Middlesbrough. There's our Thierry Henry, Jamie Carragher moment. Middlesbrough 1-0.
We can do our auditions for Soccer Saturday when the goals come in.
Get us on there. Come on. Something we learned about in the presser this week as well, Charlie, before we go on to Bristol City, is that Otmane Mama and Khoury Gore are going to be out. I think it's until the international break or just after the international break. So hopefully they'll be back for those the Easter weekend and the run-in. 2 big blows, Charlie, aren't they? Both players out wide. I think it's such a huge loss when we've got such talent out wide in Rocco Vata, in Khoury Gore, in Mama, and they're all out injured at the moment. Do you think they would have made a difference potentially against Ipswich, or it's just a frustrating one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think potentially. I think Mama's probably been our most creative player ever since he's come into the team. I think he's been absolutely excellent and probably one of the biggest positives of this season. So, yeah, real shame that he's out for a period of time, and Khoury Gore just devastated for him. It looks like it was against Derby, like an innocuous challenge, and he kind of went off straight away. There's real fears about his career and if he's ever going to be able to sustain it. I don't want to get too deep into that because it worries me, and I'm sure it worries him, but it just showed, like Ed Steele's first game when Barr came on against Preston, how impactful he can be. And I thought he was good against Derby as well when he was even coming inside, should have won that penalty. I think I predicted Barr to be our player of the season just because I think he's that impactful and great to watch. And I'm praying that he can just get over these injuries. And we're going to talk about a player who used to be riddled with injuries in Jeremy Ngakia. And he seems like he's managed to manage his own body and keep himself fit now for a period of time. I know he's had like a few niggles here and there, but it feels like he's been a mainstay in the team. So I'm praying that Barr can find that, because when he's in the team or available coming off the bench, we are a lot better team. So, and I know Ed still mentioned after the Ipswich game, I think that he only played 3 at the back because of our lack of wingers. I'm not too sure how much I bought into that, but maybe he's got a point there. But yeah, I think the fact that we've got Chatford-Atsi and Aaron Kunda to start in those positions, it's not too bad, is it?
No, not too bad at all. Getting some of your comments here. So on the red cards, Ben here, most of the red cards haven't actually cost us anything in game. We were already done at Coventry. That's when Abankwah got sent off. And the other 3, so Loser, he got sent off in injury time against QPR when we were winning the game. Nestor and Kunda when the game was done at home to Swansea, and obviously Dumbia retrospectively. The suspensions are the problem. I think that's a fair comment. Jay Laws says, just felt Ed wanted to see how we'd cope being compact in the defensive shape against Ipswich, realised it wasn't for us and reverted back to type. Nothing to worry about, in my opinion. A good shout again. Where's we got Rio here? I fear for Barr's career, not injury prone. He could be playing for Conference League or a Premier League club. With these injuries, mid-table championship. Yeah, feel for Quadro Barr, and hopefully he gets to the bottom of this issue, because he is a top player, and I think one of the most dangerous in this division. Anyway, more positive. Friday night, under the light, Ashton Gate, Sky Sports, Bristol City against Watford. Back to the back 4. Charlie.
Here we go. Back to the back 4. Interestingly, Bowler dropped back to the bench with Stephen Fooney coming back in at left back. I'm calling him Saba coming back in, which I thought was quite interesting. He wasn't fit for the Ipswich game. Abankwah's been a real winner out of the Ed Steele appointment, hasn't he? He's kept his place at the back, and I thought he had a decent game. A sea of green you can see there for the ratings of our back. We'll get on to one Jeremy Ngakia. And then, yeah, this shape is saying it was 4-4-2. Fair enough out of possession, but I think in possession, you could talk about this man, Kayembe. He was definitely kind of the furthest forward, playing as, I think, in number 10, and what I think is his best position. So, yeah, I thought it was good to go back to that back 4, something that we've seen do well at Derby and Preston. And the early goal about our man, Khoury Gore, who I am a big fan of. Sam, we'll talk about the finish. Another first-time finish. Georgie does brilliantly because he gets the ball from like halfway line, drives it all the way into penalty area, slips it through to Kayembe, who squares it for Khoury Gore. I've described the goal, but I wanted to get a bit more in-depth from you about your feelings about our big Dane up front. How are you feeling about him now? You've had a couple of... let's not say knee-jerk reactions, some Yuko reactions a couple of times when it's about Khoury Gore, but how are you feeling about the big Luca at the moment?
Big Luca. Huge improvement under Ed Steele. I would say that. I think he has been so much better under the new manager. His hold-up play has been a lot better. I think his linking play as well has been much better as well. And I think that's leading to him being in the right place at the right time for goals, which I actually don't want to take away from the finish the other day, because it was a fantastic finish to get it sort of up as well into the roof of the net. He just looks a lot sharper. I don't know what it is, but under Javi, he just seemed a bit, I don't want to say unfit, because obviously you can't get fit that quickly in the space of 2 managers, but he just seemed a yard off it and maybe not as clued up in terms of what he needed to do on and off the ball compared to what he is under Ed Steele. So I think it's been a huge improvement for Luca. And let's not forget, he's on 9-10 goals so far this season, which for a young man in his first season in English football, it's not a bad return at all. And unlike a certain vacuum buy that we had last season where he scored about 10 goals, they were only spread over about 3 games. They are being nicely spread out now, as well as a couple of braces. So I think there's a lot more to come from him. He's still got a lot to work on in his game. I mentioned there times with him being in the right place at the right time. There are still times where I think he's maybe a little bit behind playing. I'm always thinking, where's the number 9 when the ball comes into the box? But yeah, I think we are seeing a slow but steady improvement from Luca. A lovely goal as well the other night, Charlie.
Yeah, really clever finish to kind of lift it above the keeper because he didn't have a lot of room to work with. I really, really rate him. Some of his finishing, I think, is really natural and something that you don't see all strikers. I don't think he has many chances in the game. Remember when they used to moan about Erling Haaland having no touches but scoring all those goals? Not that I'm going to compare him to his Scandinavian brethren, but no, I really like him. I just think if he can learn to use his body a bit more, and I'd really like to see him kind of a bit deeper with the ball at his feet, like shooting from range. I know he's had a couple of decent strike from range, but I feel like there's more to come from him as well. And the fact that he's a 23-year-old lad, I think if we can keep him, like for example, in the summer, would you want to buy another striker, or would you stick to what we've got in terms of Doumbia? Because I know a lot of people in January were calling for a more experienced striker.
Yeah.
Do you want Ashley Barnes?
He nearly. I mean, did he have a goal ruled out the weekend? Ashley Barnes, didn't he? Or something. We nearly scored for Burnley. Anyway, I mean, I don't want to go back again to how Khoury Gore was pitched to supporters. I think the issue is almost that we're being told that we're signing these unbelievable strikers who are on a par with Dini Vidra, Gallo, Forestieri, and that he's going to be the striker to get us promoted. I'm paraphrasing here. I don't know if we were ever actually told that, but
paraphrasing's one on the Yuko bingo card, by the way.
Yeah, I feel like I'm paraphrasing a lot. It's the new intangibles. I feel like Watford fans would have been a lot more patient with Luca if we were like, he's a young striker, he's coming in, he's learning. This Watford team is learning, and we're not going all out for promotion this season. It's just we're going back again to big picture stuff. I feel like I'm going back into that too often, but I don't think I'd be disappointed. No, but is he a striker who I think will get far you to promotion? No. So that's fair. I don't know if that's. I think
who's the top scorers in the championship? The Swansea lad, the Popnik.
Yeah,
the but like the number 9's kind of gone as being like 20 goals strikers. It's more about the wide players. So I think he's a really good. It's just a classic Pozzo signing, isn't it? Getting him in early, hoping he can really improve, and then he could be a top striker. I really like him, and I really like Doumbia as well. I don't think Semedo's contributed this year, so I'm pretty happy with our striker option. It's more kind of creativity around it.
That's harsh. Semedo scored won us points. The goal at Norwich, Sheffield Wednesday.
I like him. He's caused some chaos. Has he played under Ed still? I don't think he has.
I actually don't think so. He was in the family zone a couple of games ago, and he wasn't injured. So he's been relegated to.
From there, is he?
No. Well, he made some people's days. So, listen, I do actually just on the last thing on the first goal, as Ben said here, got to highlight the Georgie run. I know you mentioned it there, but in Ed Still's press conference this week, he almost gave a little rallying cry to Georgie, saying, "I know you're good. Come on." Yeah, exactly. We want to see a bit more of it. I thought it was a huge improvement the other night, wasn't it, from Georgie? The Georgie that we've come to know and love a bit more.
Yeah, he's a strange player because he hasn't got blistering pace. But I watched that goal back before we went live, and I think his tight control when he's dribbling is his super strength, and he can travel with the ball at his feet without even thinking about it. Just sticks to it. I think the one with Georgie, which really kills me, is when he gets into the final third and it's time to show a bit of end product, whether that's even a simple like through ball or a good strike on goal. And like he's had injuries throughout his career. Look, the fact that we've had the injuries that we've had, but we've still got Georgie and Iran Kundra, I think we're blessed really. So I like Georgie. Hopefully now he can keep his place in the team. I like him on the left, whether that's inside 8 or like wide left. I think he feels comfortable there. He can go both ways, kind of round inside or out. So hopefully now he's going to have a consistent bit of time in the team and he can get back firing. We could do with a Georgie goal, couldn't we? Yeah,
we could really do with one. I don't know how many assists he's got this season as well. Another goal in the promotion race though as well. Matt Targett has scored his second goal of the evening against Birmingham.
We
Someone who
tried to sign him in last January, I'm sure.
Yeah, we did. I think that was definitely mentioned. I think he's someone who's been mentioned a couple of times on the Premier League players Watford should sign on this channel as well. So if you want to go back for a nostalgia watch, go and have a look at something.
I'm sure that like maybe Newcastle picked up an injury, maybe like Lewis Hall or someone, and he was literally supposed to travel down, and they
was that under Cleves or under Val? It might have been on. I don't know if it was under Val, that one. Can't remember. Sort of the last few transfer windows have all sort of meshed into one in my head.
You forgot about Ishmael Kona the other day, didn't you? I was like, was it 2024?
And Charlie put a message, sent a message of did Koning score for? Is it Sassuolo? Is that now?
No, he won man of the match in whatever game he played for Sassuolo.
Yeah, I'm talking about how good he was, and I'm a bit like it's a bit like I don't actually remember how good he was, Kona. I remember some flashes, but we've had so many centre mids between then. The only thing I really remember from that season on the first half Val under Cleves was the Jake Livermore goal against QPR. I don't really remember anything else from that season. Bit of a blur. Any other highlights, Charlie, that you can think of?
Is that the season we beat QPR 4-1 the first game of the season?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Anyway, back to the Bristol City. Scott Twine scored.
Yes, Scott Twine obviously scored a goal. The banker, as always, scoring against Watford. They were knocking on the door, Bristol City. I do think the feeling in the ground, the way the atmosphere was going, it was a matter of when, not if, they were going to score. A disappointing goal to give away. And let's talk about this goalkeeper.
Don't this goalkeeper him. Let's Egil.
No, Egil.
Okay. We'll call him Selvik for now.
We'll call him Selvik. I can see on the running order that I've got in front of me here in terms of should he do better. I saw a lot of people saying this after they think he should have done. Being in the ground, the pace on it, how close it was to him, I think it's a bit harsh to say he should have saved it. What do you think, Charlie?
I think he should have saved it.
He should have saved it.
Yeah, I think where the ball arrives at him, do you know what I mean? It's here, just push it over, get a stronger contact. He kind of felt like he was under it. And again, maybe I'm being harsh. We spoke in our chat about him and what is he, what's his level. I think where we went from Backman to getting him in, and he came with a bit of like, I think he was Norway's number one. I don't think he's played as much game for them as since he signed for us, which there seems to be a bit of a trend with international goalkeepers in Watford. But when he came in, he just seemed really solid, and I think we were all thinking he was the next Gordon Banks. But like I said a bit earlier, I just feel like some of the goals he conceded are just so central, and I think his approach to punching instead of catching doesn't feel anyone with too much composure. But look, he did have quite a few saves to make. I don't know if we are being harsh, but I just think he's a average to good goalkeeper at this level. Am I being harsh, Sam? Would you agree?
And
don't lie, I've got the receipts.
Sorry?
And don't lie, because I've got the receipts.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Egil Selvik fan. Have a look. I don't know if we can put a vote or a poll in the comment section here, but we'll just say if you think he should have saved it, just put save. If you don't think he should have saved it, put in the comments. I don't know. No, just put no in the comments and in the live chat now, because I'm intrigued what people think. Because I think it's going to split opinion this one.
The only thing I was thinking about, who else are the top keepers in the Championship this season?
Hovs has been okay.
Yeah, he is. Rushworth's been good, but
yeah, I think Solbrin's been good at Middlesbrough. Yeah, it's a good question. Not too many. I think what he is, Selvik, he is a standard Championship goalkeeper. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to pull off some fantastic saves, and we've seen both of those throughout this season. So, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan. He is. I think he's definitely an upgrade on previous goalkeepers we've had, but slowly I'm seeing more mistakes creep into his game as well, which is the concern for me. I think there's been a trend this season that maybe his performances have dipped a little bit. I don't know too much about Nathan Baxter. I don't think we've seen enough of him, but I don't know how much pressure he's putting on him either. I don't want to sound sort of overly critical of either goalkeeper, but I think he's just a standard goalkeeper in the Championship.
He's
So yeah,
he's 13th in the league for goals prevented stats. So that says it all.
yeah. Maybe I'm sitting on the fence here a little bit too much. I think he's got a lot to work on.
The top goalkeepers for goal prevented are Carl Rushworth, Victor Johansson at Stoke.
Yeah,
Derby's keepers, Zetterstorm, who I've never heard of, Nicholas Schmidt at Pompey, and Pandora at Hull. So, look, I feel like fine's a bit harsh, but I think he's just average goalkeeper at this level. So I don't think
where Watford are at the moment, we're going to get anyone better than that. With the budgets that we're paying. I mean, I don't know if you can see in the chat, Charlie, as well, but it is literally splitting opinion. This very 50-50 in terms of people who think you should save it or not save it. Yeah, I mean, it was interesting as well because I saw the club put out a compilation of some of his saves from the other night. I thought he should have caught a lot of them.
There was one that was straight down and he pushed it back into the air, into the danger zone. And
I'm just thinking a bit like just catch it with two hands or just like bring it into your chest. I don't really know why he was pushing it away. Bizarre. I don't know. Maybe we're being harsh. Let us know in the comments. I think he's a goalkeeper who's going to.
We don't know about his intangibles as well.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, on to more positive things. Second half, I'll be honest, being in the ground and speaking to other Watford fans, I wasn't overly confident. I felt like I've watched that game a lot, with Watford over the years. I just felt I knew where it was going to go. But I was impressed with Watford at the start of that second half, even before we scored. Charlie, what were your thoughts on it?
In terms of second half and overall performance, I just felt they were bang average. Like that I know, again, I don't want to talk about big picture, but the biggest frustration for me this season is just how average this league is. And like for them to be our promotion contenders, same with Derby. I thought Ipswich were good, but look at the budget of their team. I just thought they were a really average team. So I was worried it was going to be another one of those games where we dropped points against a team who I didn't really rate. And then, as the game went on, can't remember too many kind of chances that we created. I think there was a really good chance that Irankunda hit over. Georgie put a really nice ball in and Irankunda kind of kung fu kicked it and it went over. Loser had a nice shot from distance that was saved. I didn't feel threatened at all, but I didn't expect Jeremy Ngakia to score a 30-yard worldie. Good story about that. DCW David Walker, who's been on the channel a few times. Congratulations on the birth of his.
I don't know why I'm clapping. Why am I clapping?
His new Hornet that he's welcomed into the world, little Amber. And when I messaged him, congratulated him, we were talking about her first game, and he said, hopefully we'll see a Jeremy Ngakia 30-yard screamer. I think he predicted on our channel that was his rogue prediction for the season, Ngakia to score a 30-yard screamer. So he said, hopefully her first goal will be Ngakia 30-yard screamer. Lo and behold, 83 minutes in, the ball falls to Jezza, and he absolutely rifles it in top corner. So I was buzzing for him with that. And Sam, what was it like watching that goal live? Perfect, isn't it? Last 10 minutes in front of the away end.
Yeah. Well, firstly, congratulations to Dave. I don't know if there's a female version for the name Jeremy. Is there? I don't know, but maybe that's what should have been named after. Unbelievable though to be in the away end for that. We were slowly putting the pressure on. I don't think we were. I think for as much as we're saying we weren't necessarily worried about Bristol City, I don't think they were maybe overly worried about us in terms of the chances that we were creating, other than that Irankunda sort of kung fu kick that you mentioned. But yeah, wow. And I think if it could fall to anyone, I think to score a goal like that in front of the away end with 10 minutes to go, I think actually a lot of that away end would have picked Jeremy Ngakia, because I think on social media, and this is what I think there's a difference between what you see on social media versus what you see in the crowd. He seems to really split opinion on social media, and some people seem to really, really not be a fan of him. But I go to games and people absolutely love him. He seems to be that player that people have a real soft spot for. He's been here now for nearly 7 years. The time has absolutely flown by with that. So he's sort of grown and we've seen him grow up as a player, which has been really, really nice to see. And I feel like now that he's, I don't want to jinx anything here, got those injury issues behind him, or as not as consistently injured as he used to be, we're starting to see the best of him. And I think he's right up there with our players of the season so far. I think first half of the season, without doubt, it was Imran Loser, without doubt. I think there's been a little drop off since January, maybe in his overall performances. If you're looking at consistency throughout the season, whenever he's played, Ngaki's rarely been below a 6.5, 7 out of 10. So he's been really, really consistent this season. So yeah, it was absolute carnage when that goal went in. The Saminamina chant for the last 10 minutes, and then the concourse on the way out again. Brilliant. Congratulations to Jeremy. And yeah, Charlie, some living room limbs for you.
Good celebration. There was more limbs towards the end of the game, which we can come on to, but I would have loved to see Ngaki's old man in the away end.
Yeah,
I know we've met him a few times. What a bloke! But imagine him getting thrown around after that. It was a magical moment. Like, I saw a really good stat on our socials, and I don't know how true it is, but apparently Ngakia has seen the third most Watford managers under the Potsos after Deeney and Cathcart. I think he's had 12 managers or something. But yeah, this season, I think you're right. I think he's really moved up a level. One out of possession. I think he's probably one of the best 1v1 defenders in the league. I don't know too many better. I haven't seen many wingers get the better of him. His timing of his tackling is so good. And then in possession, he can beat a man. He's got his own kind of flicks and little Cruyffs around the corners to find a bit of space. He's adding goals to his game when he's scoring a corner. And yeah, like the pace, I think they said it was 83 miles per hour he hit that ball in. It was one of those. He absolutely pinged it. And yeah, absolutely love him. I think he's a top player. And the fact that the amount of people calling for him, and there was a bit of outrage when he signed a new contract, but the fact that we got him, as the song goes, for a free. His name is Jeremy, and he's been class this season. So here's to you, Jezza.
What a guy. What a guy. Before we get on to those last 10 minutes, sister club Watford, Udinese are 1-0 up at half-time against Fiorentina, and a goal from Christian Kabasele, who must have seen a fair few Watford managers as well.
I've seen him notching a couple of goals over there.
Clutch player. Bring him home. Maybe not. I don't know. I love Jeremy. I love Jeremy, and I loved Christine Kabasele as well. Both of them brilliant personalities as well, I think, to have around, and a humble guy as well. I heard about his Sky interview at the end, and apparently he actually looks a little bit embarrassed, like he didn't want to be in front of the cameras. So that's what he is, just a modest guy who scores screamers, and that's who I aspire to be one day as well.
Better 1v1 defender than Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Wow. Big call. A DR Congo, are they going to the World Cup? He didn't go to AFCON, did he, with them? He didn't go to AFCON.
I should know this. I'm not too sure, but I watched Real Madrid versus Benfica, and yeah, Trent a bit suspect. But anyway, let's not sell him off.
Talking of DR Congo, I want to talk about other standouts as well for Watford against Bristol City. Ado Kayembe, I thought he had his best game in a long time. Go on, Charlie, take it away, because I know you're a big fan of his performance the other night.
Yeah, no, he was great. And were we missing him against Ipswich? I don't think he got on the pitch against Ipswich. I don't know if that was a fitness thing, but
I think I don't know if it impacted it as well, but I believe he's doing Ramadan as well. He's observing Ramadan, so maybe that impacted things as well.
But he played all 97 minutes the other night, and yeah, I think a lot of people saying they were his man of the match. When I was watching, I didn't feel too much like he had an amazing game. But I think the biggest frustration with him is mainly kind of, one is out of possession work. He's not the fastest. I think there was even a moment against Bristol City when the ball kind of came over, and if he had a bit more pace, he would have probably got there. So the fact that he's a bit slow, not as dynamic, I think he can take too long in possession. He can need sometimes 3 or 4 touches and get caught, which is frustrating to watch. But I think on the whole, especially in the last couple of games, he's a player who kind of maybe holds it up a bit better than even Khoury Gore, who, like, you can give him the ball, and he can hold on to it. And not only that, he can kind of get out tight spaces. He can switch the ball left to right. And I think it's clear that his better position is as a number 10 than Holding, where he doesn't have to do that much grafting. I thought Mendy had a really good game as well, and he's been a bit of a revelation since he's come in. But yeah, 2 key moments. I think that's one thing that Kayembe's got to his game. He's a goal scorer. And the other night, I think he got 2 assists.
Yeah.
So obviously crucial moments. I don't think we can give Ngakia, don't think we can give him too much praise for that assist. But Sam, I placed a bet, only one bet this game, be gamble aware. Please bet responsibly. And the bet was Scott Twine to score, the banker, the one that won't fail.
Always.
The one that never fail. Jeremy Ngakia to get a booking. I just thought it was quite a big price. And that came in quite early. And the third leg of the bet was Kayembe to have a shot. Normally, Kayembe is shooting on sight every time he gets the ball. And I was sweating, Sam. After 80 minutes, he hadn't had a shot. It went long into injury time. Ngakia scored. By this point, I didn't really care. But the 97th minute, Sam, I heard your voice and I heard the travelling Watford fans cry when it fell to Kayembe about 25, 30 yards out. Shoot! He shot to land me the bet. Living room limbs. Edo Kayembe. What a man.
Love it. That's dinner on you, Charlie, when you're next down here as well.
Let's
I'm sure the fist bumps were going off in the Zazera household after that bet came in. Lovely stuff, Charlie. And they were also going off in the away end as well. Brilliant away end scenes at full time from particularly Iran Kunda. And the next man I want to talk about, my man of the match, Stefan Mafuni. Now, everyone knows I love a reactionary take on this channel. I love a knee-jerk reaction. I love hyping players up. But I have never, and I know I've said this about 5 times this season about 5 different players, but I've never been so confident about a player making it to the top as Stefan Mafuni. He is just unbelievable, like ridiculous. I mean, wow.
Lost for words.
I'm lost for words. I'm speechless. Being in the ground, like you can see, it's a big guy for a young guy. He's big. He's so quick. And he loves it as well. He loves it. He loves interacting with the crowd. He loves getting into the spirit of the actual game as well and really immersing himself in it. And I think that's impacting his performances as well. I love him. Like, what a player. Like, giving the Ballon d'Or, calling him up to the England squad. Charlie, sum it up in 3 words for me. I'll give you that challenge.
Better than Elaine? That's too obvious. I think, should I tell you my thing that I'm most impressed about him the most? Because he hasn't been absolutely flawless, but his ability to recover from it, it's like he's kind of, I don't know, like a year 11 playing with like year 7s. Like, he's doing too much skill, and then when he mucks up, his ability to recover from a mistake and get the ball back instantly is mad that he's doing that in the Championship. He's playing at left back, where he's a centre back. Astonishing talent. And the thing that's been added since we last spoke, because we very much saying the same things on the last video, is he's got a bit about him. He's doing the old fist pumps to the away end, was he? And then he done an interview after the game with the media, and apparently he was great in saying, I know I'm a lone player, but at the moment I don't want to feel like a lone player. I want to be a Watford player. So could we, if we don't go up, which is likely, Fooney, come back. We've done you a favour this year, Pep. Come back for the promotion chasing horns next season. Do you see that happening, or do you think he'll go on loan to a Prem team? Or straight in the City team?
It's difficult. Wow.
We got Caleb Wiley back, didn't we?
Yeah, we got Caleb Wiley back. I think one thing that we've spoken again about this that's going to definitely work to Watford's advantage is that I think, unlike other clubs, Man City surely trust us now with their academy players in terms of giving them that first gateway into football. We've seen Max Elaine, who, unfortunately, I don't think after he played those 3 or 4 games in January, I don't think he's probably going to play too many more minutes throughout this season. Unfortunately for him, I think he's actually struggled a little bit as well in some games. Poor guy. But Mafuni as well has been fantastic. So it's good. I think Pep is going to trust us, hopefully, with some of their players in City generally. Question for you here, posed here by Presentia FX. If Pep says you can have Elaine or Mafuni back again for a season-long loan next year, who are you picking? It's an easy one for me, isn't it?
Funi, yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be.
His ceiling is ridiculous, and
So good.
I think he could score. I think he could score goals, even like going forwards, like racing forwards. You've seen him like at left back, and even at set pieces, he should have scored against Hull, I'm sure. But yeah, I'd be gutted. I'm not gonna be gutted, but like, imagine if we got another season out of him. That'd be great.
Yeah, it would be absolutely fantastic. Before we close out today's video, we'll talk a bit more about, I think, taking a step back about Ed Steele's first 4 games in charge as the Watford manager. 7 points out of 12, with the point away at Preston, beating Derby at Vicarage Road, the defeat that we spoke about with Ipswich, and of course that win against Bristol City. Charlie, everything in mind with the suspensions, with the injuries going on, out of 10, what would you rate Ed Steele's first few games in charge? 10 being unbelievable, 1 being rubbish.
I was going to go American exam rating. I was going to give him a B. But out of 10, I'd probably give him an 8. If you look at those fixtures, Preston, Derby, Ipswich, and Bristol City, all of those teams were above us, I think, when we played them. And to get 7 points out of 12, I think is pretty impressive. Coming in straight away, I don't think he had too long, maybe less than a week for that Preston game. We should have won that, in my opinion. Like that second half, I thought we were really, really good. Derby game, we dominated them. I think that was the title of the last video. Ipswich game, we've talked about that. But if Ince scores the penalty, and maybe that was kind of one blot that we can put down to him moving to the back three. And Bristol City, I thought, considering we played the game Tuesday, Friday, and he talked about speaking to the players, and he was saying how knackered everyone, and they asked for a real big push. I think the way he's connected to the squad is really, really impressive. I think his actions, I don't think he's revolutionised tactics or is doing anything crazy, but I think apart from that, I remember when we first said about, I can't remember his lineup against Preston, but it was a bit, I can't remember the different positions he was playing. He played Kayembe centrally, and we were a bit worried about it, but I think he's really stripped back, and he's made it really simple. And I think that's all we've really needed with this squad. We've got so much talent there. We just need to put people in the right positions. And I think he's done really well, to be honest. What if I'm giving him an 8? Would you agree? Higher or lower?
Yeah, I'll probably go to a 7. I think actually in the chat as well, it's probably averaging out at about 7.5 as well. We've got 7.5 here, 7.5 here as well, 7 and 8. So yeah, I think it's probably around that 7.5, 8 mark. Yeah, I think it's been good. I think it's definitely the confidence that he's given some players. I think what he seems to be is a really good man manager as well. You can see he's really encouraging on the sidelines. He likes it when players try things, and he's really animated. And I spoke about Mafuni being immersed in games. Ed Steele, wow, he throws himself. It's almost like he's kicking every ball on the sidelines. He loves the clapping. I think Adam Jury, when he was on our last video, spoke about his whistling on the sides, which you can hear, I think, from a mile away. So yeah, I do like the start that we've made under Ed Steele. I still don't think it's enough. I think if we are going to get playoffs, which is ultimately his what he's been tasked with, we need to be holding on against Preston. We need to be getting something against Ipswich at home, and we didn't, which is why he loses marks for me. But Charlie, based on these first 4 games, and it's so difficult because Watford is an ever-changing climate. We don't know what next season's going to look like. Have you seen enough for him to be the man? I'll give you 2 questions, Charlie, actually. Have you seen enough?
Hard enough.
Have you seen enough yourself, and do you think he'll be in charge here next season?
Okay. I would, if it continues going how it's going, which will probably be miss out on the playoffs, but the football's good, picking up some good results, players playing in the right position, developing players, good vibes, I would give him, I think he signed a 2-year contract, so
yeah,
I would keep him. It's not a case of playoffs or bust. And yeah, we don't have to talk about what's going to happen halfway through next season. But I would give him the start of next season 100%, because who else would we get? Are we going to take another Pezzolano punt? No, thank you. You could argue with the squad being a year older, have we got more of a chance to get promoted next year? But we'll probably lose the next year.
Yeah.
Potential other outgoings. And Sam, we've done every type of manager. Like who's better than Ed Still? He's got a connection with players. Said exactly the same thing with Tom Cleverley last season. And I still stay to this word. If Cleverley was in charge, I think he would have done better than Pezzolano and Gracia. So, yeah, the answer to the question is I would keep him for next season unless the wheels totally fall off. Do I think they will? It's hard to predict what's in Gino's mind. I think if I had to predict, I'd probably say they will keep him.
Really?
But, yeah, I think they will keep him. But does he last whole season? Who knows? What do you think? Those two questions back at you.
I would. I like what I'm seeing in terms of a manager developing as well on the side and almost growing with the squads at the same time. I think he'll make mistakes like we've seen so far, but I think he's also going to get a lot right. I actually think there's a world, and this might sound absolutely bizarre, and this is what I think will happen. I think the only way that Ed still keeps his job is if we get in the playoffs but don't go up. So we lose in the playoff semi-final or lose in the playoff final. I think the reality is I think we're going to miss out. And I think what they're going to turn around and say is, like we heard last summer, they're going to want to have a more experienced manager in there, particularly as well with the thought that
copy and paste the press release.
Well, no, I do genuinely believe it. It's baffling that we went from Cleverley to Ed. We don't need to talk about it again, but I think I think the likely cases will miss out, and their rationale is there's going to be 8 places for the playoffs next year. Sorry, 6 playoff places with 8 teams having a shot of going up. I think they're going to say an experienced head will hopefully get us through that. We don't need to talk about next season yet. So I think he'd lose his job if we miss out on the playoffs. And I think if we were somehow fluked our way into the playoffs and went up, I think they'd let him go and say we need an experienced manager for the Premier League. So I actually think the only way that Ed still keeps his job is if we get into the playoffs but don't go up. And I think he'd keep his job through that. And they'd say, fair play, you got us in, go again next season. This football club is bizarre, isn't it?
Sam, one thing when I was looking at, we keep having these questions about playoffs and we keep winning and losing and we're like, no, we've got no chance. Yeah. I think the results the other day were a bit of a killer. Yeah. Wrexham won, Derby won. Who else?
Hull won as well to just
Hull
keep
won,
that
Millwall. But I looked at our next 7 fixtures, Sam, which are for people listening on audio. Sheffield Wednesday away. If we don't win that, we don't deserve to go up end the season there. And then Stoke away, the big return. They've been awful recently. To be honest, they've fallen off a cliff. We beat them at home, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then a really big game against Wrexham at home. If we can win these 2 games, Sheffield Wednesday, Stoke, I'd really like to. I don't think I'd be able to make it for the game, but I think that Wrexham game could be quite a good atmosphere at Vicarage Road, just knowing who they are and what's at stake on the game. And then Leicester at home, they've been awful. And then we've got, is it the international break? And then we've got QPR away, Charlton at home, Oxford away.
I always say, Charlie, I've said this before, you never know in the Championship until that Easter weekend. And I think that is very true here. I think by Easter, I think we'll know if our season's done or not.
Yeah. And linking on to the Ed Still conversation, I think one thing that he's going to have to deal with in these next run of games is playing against low blocks.
Yeah.
How he deals with that. Because all the teams that we played, they would have kind of gone for it a bit more.
It's interesting you say that because I did think about that low block issue, but I think other than Wrexham and maybe Stoke, I actually don't think against the teams we think will face a low block against, we will, because at the end of the day, Leicester will need to win that game against us. Oxford will likely need to win that game against us as well. Stoke will go for it because they've had such a poor run of form recently, as of QPR, who I think their form has fallen off a cliff as well. Sheffield Wednesday have nothing to lose as well, and it's a young team. I think you're right. I don't want to sound disrespectful to them, but if we don't win that game, then write the season off there and then. I actually don't think we'll face that low block issue as much as I think.
Sam, you're bang on. I think you've got a really good point there. So I'll keep my tactics tail between my legs for now. But yeah, you have got a really good point. But you look at those games, and the issue is like on paper, we should be doing well there. But I think Watford's troubles this season has always been against lower teams. But yeah, I totally agree with you. I would like a world if we win our next 2 games against Sheffield Wednesday at Stoke. That would be 3 games in a row facing a Wrexham team at home. I think that could be really exciting. And if we did get the better of them to make it 4 wins in a row, who knows?
Out of interest, Charlie, Watford have 10, 11 games left now this season.
11, I think.
Yeah. I've said earlier on the video, I think we've given ourselves too much to do because not only are we relying on Watford now, between now and the end of the season, to be pretty much perfect, but we're also relying on your Wrexhams and your Hulls and all the teams around us to be really poor and drop points as well. How many more points can Watford afford to drop? There's 33 available. I don't think we can afford to lose more than 1 game now.
I don't know, but I think one of the things when you look at our fixtures, one thing that you need to remember is all of our playoff rivals have got a lot of games against each other and will be taking points of each other. And a lot of them have still got Ipswich, Middlesbrough and Coventry. I think the interesting thing about our fixtures are our last 2 games.
Yeah.
Where there's a world where Middlesbrough could be already promoted. There's a world where Coventry could already be promoted, so won't have anything to play for. So if that's the case, and we've got those guys either drunk from celebrating, that could be a really, really big, that could be a real kind of advantage to us against other people. If not, and it's still tight and they're fighting for it, then it obviously is going to be a tougher task. But saying then it's going to be kind of edgy for them, isn't it? Like, I think, I don't know, there's something about Coventry which they squeeze another last minute win. I still think they could go on a run and not win in a few games. So I'm just saying that could be a really interesting dynamic. But the fact that Ipswich looks strong means that it's probably going to go down to the wire. But if Ipswich fall off, I think Borough is still winning. If 2 of them run away with it, that would be really beneficial for us.
Definitely. It's going to be an exciting end to the season in the Championship. Watford, we're holding on to our playoff hopes by thread, I would say, at the moment. And an opportunity to continue to build on that win against Bristol City at Hillsborough against an already relegated Sheffield Wednesday side. Drew 1-1 in the home game at Vicarage Road in one of the, well, I'd actually say one of the worst performances I've ever seen. It was so poor.
That was funny sitting next to you that game.
My head was gone. Equalising in the 97th minute thanks to Vivaldo Semedo. I'd already left, but he, for some reason, celebrated that goal instead of going to get the ball out the back of the net. But
we didn't even know how to celebrate. We were just like,
yeah, felt like a loss. Charlie, score prediction for our trip to Hillsborough a week tomorrow on the Tuesday next week.
Watford 4-1.
Wow. I think 2-1 win.
Chalobah getting their only goal.
I'd clap it. That would also 4 goals would be fantastic for our £1 for every goal that Watford are scoring this season. As mentioned at the top of the show, we'll be doing our January and February donations as 12 goals scored across the last 2 months. So make sure to get involved in the comments. Talking of charity donations as well, Charlie, the Mental Health World Cup is coming up. There'll be an opportunity, I'm sure, to in the raffle or the auction, maybe buy some of the WD18 merch or win the WD18 merch as well. But we're also looking for general raffle and auction prizes, Charlie, aren't we?
Yeah, it's coming up soon. I need to start reaching out to a few people to try and get some prizes. We've had some crackers over the year. Craig Cathcart, FA Cup final shirt. Who do you have last? What did we have last year?
Oh, we had a whole load last year. We had an Adrian Mariappa match worn shirt from the Coca-Cola days, which I bought.
Matty Pollock bought us some boots, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think that was a couple of years back. Emmanuel Dennis gave us a shirt a couple of years back.
Yeah.
I can't remember last year we had like Oasis tickets and mad stuff. So, yeah, if anyone's got some Watford merch or knows anyone or knows any way, obviously the money's going to go to some incredible charities, and it's creeping up soon, Sam. May the 9th. I know we've got a meeting about it, I think, soon. So need to confirm if the teams are all sold out. If not, we'll be advertising that to see if we can squeeze any more Watford fans in. But May the 9th, even if you don't know anyone playing, come down. It should be an amazing day. Date subject to change. But yeah, last year was incredible seeing so many Watford fans on the pitch. So looking forward to do it again. Make sure you come down. May the 8th. We got to get Ed Steele down, surely. Unless he's gone by then.
The gaffer. Last year's one cleverly had been sat like the day before, hadn't he?
Yeah. And Sam, whereabouts would we have a refreshment after on May the 9th?
Yes, you can head down to the Mad Squirrel as well. Maybe we can have a chat with them as well about getting some more kickoff beers in with proceeds going to Hertfordshire Mind as well.
And it could be a sunny day, Sam. So what would you need?
Well, definitely not the big jumper. But yeah, the cap would be a great shot. Can we get bucket hats? I wonder if that's a possibility. We might have to explore.
Yeah. They do. Yeah, I bought the England pod some bucket hats for the World Cup, so they do bucket hats.
Yeah.
But let us know if you want a bucket hat, if you want an Orns bucket hat, let us know in the comments. I'm going to need some justification to get these ordered first.
Lovely. Brilliant. Well, I, for one, will definitely be buying one. Charlie, thank you so much for joining me this evening here on W18, where we reviewed 2 games, defeat against Ipswich, and on a more positive note, Jeremy Ngatia's screamer that gave us the win against Bristol City.
Okay. Bought it from West Ham on, they're free. His name is Jeremy.
Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the video today and Charlie's lovely dulcet tones at the end there, and we'll see you all soon. Up the all, and it's yours.